Well, they did.
No,
they were alright. They did. Yeah, they were alright, man. Yeah, they was what
they had terrible dress
sense.
Depends how you was with them.
I'm not going to put up with it.
So you've talked a lot about the word half-caste in on the website and the significance of it. Can you just say, because you kind of, I think you said that one of the main narratives that's come out of it is you all kind of preferring the word, and I wanted to know whether, when that word got stigmatised, whether...
I don't prefer it.
What do you prefer?
Well, it's not that I prefer it, we've only got a choice that was just thrust upon us. We're called mixed race now. But if you're going to call me something, why wasn't I consulted to ask, well, what do you want to be known as? And again, half-caste for me, it's from colonialism. That's for me personally. It means half pure, half right and half fucking wrong, pardon me French. So that's why I personally, some people might like it because it's got an historical thing, so much like how the black man's done in America, where they've reversed the word nigger, haven't they? So they're proud of the word nigger. I'm not, and I'm not proud of half-caste, but it's my personal opinion. I'm not against anyone who thinks that way. I'll try and change their opinion.
But for me, half-caste for me is my badge of honour. Because I fought for that.
It is mine as well.
Yep. Again, you can
I fought for that
opinion.
Right? So as I said, when you have to fight, don't fuck with half-caste. That's my badge of honour. Right. They give me the name. Right?
Yeah, but I'm saying
they bear it.
I can't call myself anything else because I'm disrespecting my mother and she was white.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I'm sorry about
because
that.
when we stopped being able to be, I totally agree that someone decided we couldn't be artists anymore, right? But then when they decided that, they also decided at a very similar time that we was black.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so our mum now is out of the picture.
Yeah.
Do you know, we're only, and then it started to work on us that we start looking for black history, this, black history, that, black whatever. Fair enough, I'm half black, but I'm also half white. And when half-caste went away, that went away. It's like a gradation in slavery. No way can you claim your mum, you've got to go on the black side. If you was born in a slave, you would have been on the field the same way, or a house. In the house. You could never have been in the big house. There was a white person, and that's
my circumstances. My mother, right, was white. She was Jewish, right? And by Jewish law, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
Right. So
yes, exactly.
To get that word,
Sammy Davis.
My dad summed it up. My dad never used the word that because he wasn't half-caste. He might have looked it, but he wasn't. My dad said, trust your own. And I went, who are my own? He said, shine boys. And I think what my dad meant there was, when you talk about mixed race, we come in all colours. I'm only an 8. Now if I brought one of my brothers here, you'd think, he's half. So Nick, you understand what I'm saying? Because if you pass me in the street, you think I was white.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you don't know me.
We say that because we know, see little things.
That is, sorry.
Light skin. The thing is, right, that now I prefer to look at myself and Barry, everybody. We're all international. Because we mix blood.
The whole world's going to end up in fucking half-caste mixed.
And when we say about
the whole world is going to end up.
And when we say about evolution,
kids,
and we say man originates from Africa, so even the white man, his ancestors come from. We're all the same. We're all international.
I think for me what it was being always called half-caste. When they decided you were going to become mixed race, I found it very hard to let go of that title.
I did.
Because I'd never, when you were describing yourself, or when you got taunted as a child, you half-breed, you mix this, it's very hard to come away from that half-caste. But now, down the line, it's funny because my children will say, when I've said it, they go, Mummy, that's totally wrong. You've got to call us mixed race. And I've said, I cannot get away, I know what you're saying, but I just find it very hard because till a certain age, I've always been half-caste.
Because that's the doctrine.
Yeah, obviously,
it's the doctrine,
because it's what you're told that you were in
of the powers that be.
Yeah, so it's hard to have come away from that. Where do you feel comfortable? I don't know where I still feel comfortable. Am I comfortable as a half-caste or am I comfortable as a mixed race? When you say that to somebody, the point being what we made before, we can all look at each other and say, she's mixed with something, he's mixed with something, she's got black, she's got this in her. white people, as we've got to say, well, what I argue with you, that you're not who you are.
Exactly,
But that's their miseducation, isn't it? And again, it's when you go back and you look at old movies and old documentaries, you can see it's the doctrine, it's about empire and about the black man being this primitive thing, and that the whole culture of being black, for that to be primitive. So what happens to a working class white person who's had very little education, they take that like the reading the Sun, and every letter, it's the truth. And we're all grown up, and some of us are grandparents, you know, so we know the truth and what it is. It's they're telling the truth, and they've got a political agenda behind it still, and it's still, for me, personally, it's still not changed, because again, it should have come to the people, everyone who's mixed race, the label that they've given us, what would you like to be called? You know, just to have that option. We should have another option. You can't just go, you're this now, because what's it going to be in 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now? What will we call it then?
When you get that form,
you'll be still doing Brexit.
Change it, you can, rules are there to be broken and changed,
you know,
yeah.
I just say, I'm me.
You know, when we're watching television now? No, I don't think people, I don't know. I don't, because I don't watch a lot of television, but I watched, and you know the adverts, things like that. If you count in the advert how many mixed race people are in the adverts, it's amazing.
Yeah,
when we got brought up, you didn't see a fucking sign of anything.
Yeah, but
now, no, I mean the adverts and things.
Stevie,
I tell you now, out of 4 adverts, I bet there's 2 with mixed race people in the adverts.
True.
But that's because society, and because people of their mixed origin.
And plus we're very, what do you call it? What do you call it? Camera.
Photogenic.
Yeah. We're very photogenic. You know, our smile, our smile, our way, you know, the way we are. You know what I mean? Especially like our daughters and all that now. They're beautiful, man. You know?
You know before the Astor opened, right? You know that supermarket. When did it open, David? Now.
1998.
When we started working there.
1997.
Right, that time, right, there was no black people on the telly, was it, in adverts in the supermarket?
That's what I'm saying.
And as soon as we opened Astor and all that, that's when it all started, didn't it? Because there were still people going training, right, going different places and getting insulted. Some of the black people got insulted when they went training.
Because it's this search of a multicultural society.
I go back to my school photographs, you've seen them, haven't you? And I'm the only half-caste on the school photograph, right? In the junior school and the senior school photographs.
It's the other way around now, you know.
I'm the only one, that's in the span of 15 years.
It's the other way around now, Barry.
The span of 10 years.
Yeah, but
I'm the only one.
You look at the school photographs now, you see one white kid.
That's how it was those days. That's how it was those days.
When we talk about how we progress, you know, I think personally we live in a lot worse. When I look back, and you go back to all the shit we put up with, the racism, lack of jobs, or the wrong colour, but it's not gone away, it's still here.
Yeah,
and it's getting worse. And it's not just the police or the system, it's people themselves. And it's people that are being brought in. And they've got racist views. Believe me, I've had it directed at me, I've seen directed at other people in the street. So I think to myself at the end of what did we fight for? Because actually we fought to be equal. That's what we wanted, to be accepted. We still say today we're not accepted today.
Accepted.
Same thing, we're not accepted.
I think we are more than we was in the day.
By white people, yes, but there's other cultures coming in that don't accept us.
Well, like, like
come on,
the
let's have it
Indians,
right.
the Pakistanis, the Somalians, they don't really accept us.
Kamila, what interested you about the project? Why did you want to come tonight and interview us?
Loads of different things.
I know, but you've already had a word in say.
Let us start then.
No, come on.
Well, the fact that it was such a unique place, because like you're saying, because of the historical moment that it came about, it's almost like there's not been a club like it afterwards. Do you know what I mean? And like your stories of being mixed race or half-caste, it's like this club came about at a specific moment, and it's almost like, you know, nothing like it has happened afterwards. So that interested me in the fact that it was such a unique place. second thing was that, you know, everyone knows about the Hacienda, you know, like there's this certain narrative of Manchester music or club culture, and also
Twisted Wheel and all that.
And I wanted to, you know, it's like, why has the Reno not been remembered in the same way? So that interested me. I wanted to find out about that, but also like watching interviews with you, Linda, you also talking about, you know, working in the arts for such a long period of time, and then, you know, being expected to present your identity as a person of colour, you know, in a certain way, and then the Reno project allowing you to do it, you know, the way that you want to do. Yeah. So I wanted to find out about that, and, you know, how you've achieved that also as a group, because oftentimes I think when people you know, write histories of clubs or, you know, of music, it's often like one person writing a book, one person doing a film or whatever, and it's a very singular vision. Whereas here, it's like you've worked, you know, I think you said you've got your army behind you, so therefore you can't be silenced. And I wanted to find out about that process as well, you know, how it's unique, and the fact that you've got all these people working with you to tell this story. So that interested me as well.
I think for me, the did was important.
That's what made it.
We heard about the did, and we came down.
All volunteer.
And just like the Reno, we just clicked
together.
Right, and all looked in together. And it was like...
At the time we was doing the dig, we was telling each other stories about Reno.
You know, the stories were coming
and having
out.
laughs. Right. It's funny.
We were all working together and working in unison for the same goal, which was to bring the history of the Reno.
So what was the reason for you that it was, why was it important for you to bring it back to life?
For me, and I've said it before, right, people have moved into Moss Side, no roots in Moss Side. Right? So it's for me, it was the history of Moss Side, and the Reno was a very important part of that history, you know, because of the people that went down, and music.
There's a lot of famous people went down the Reno.
You know, and if we hadn't done the dig, that would have been forgotten. So the people living in Moss Side now, who've moved into Moss Side, can look at the archives that we've got. I thought, you know, this was a place.
It's been a wake-up call.
You know, and it has got a history behind it. It's not just the new two up and two down or new build houses, right? It's something substantial down here.
And I think the Hacienda, why that probably gets more acknowledged than the Reno, because that's kind of white working class history. As you have to understand that in that period, that the mixed race people, they were still at loggerheads with the authorities and the police. So, you know, the people who had money to invest it or who could have helped it, they wouldn't give it the attention that required. We had, like, say, one good DJ that every one of us here will remember, a black guy called Mike Shaft, taking care of business on Sunday afternoons. He was the only one, but he semi-sold out, to be honest, because he sort of went with like the white radio stations where the money was being pumped into, and he could have helped to promote the Reno in a big way, but he declined.
No, because the Reno are plastic.
Yeah, for tunes, because
the Reno are plastic with the records.
Have you been on the Facebook page at all, on the Reno?
I've been on the website.
Yeah. Though there's actual Facebook Reno page where they post tunes on and all that, so you'd have to sort of listen to some of the tunes, and then you'd get an idea in your head, well, wow, how come these kids was listening to this? What was kind of going on in their heads? Because you can have a lovey-dovey song, and then you'd have something about, you know, like Marvin Gaye, what's going on? You're not going to go to a club in town playing that type of music. You wouldn't have played that type of music because it was rebellious, and it was rebellious because out of oppression becomes rebellion. It doesn't matter who's being oppressed and who's right or wrong, but you're always going to have rebellion, and that's what happened. We rebelled in every way, shape and form that we could. That's what we was doing, because we was getting isolated, we wasn't getting the same treatment. We couldn't go into the same club. It didn't matter if you were smart or scruffy or good looking, ugly, a darling bird. Some birds, mixed race birds, they'd let a couple of them in. They wouldn't let 10 mixed race birds into a club, because if it kicked off, them 10 girls would stand together like men, fighting against whoever, you know. So there's a lot of different things. I mean, everyone's got their own little tale to tell. Barry's probably the oldest of us here, so he can tell things before I was even there. He'll know about, because I didn't go to Reno till 1971, 72. You know, I was a 15, 16-year-old boy.
See, for me, from the dig, from the excavation, and going down and hearing about it, we've got here. Who on that dig at the time when we were finished, you know, people were there a few weeks before I started coming, but to when we ended, who would have thought from the dig we'd have got where we are today?
It's just
here
unbelievable.
on a panel
It's
doing it.
mental.
I would never have thought it.
It's mental.
I think everybody thought it finished with the marquee.
That's it. That was the
Seems to
one.
have taken on a life of its
You
own.
pursued something and you got into people's heads and hearts.
We had a party here and they loved us.
Yeah,
They
but
wanted
even
the hearts in
that
them.
was fantastic. A lot of them just thought, well, for the artefacts. Was there anything
One
else?
conversation, Steve.
Sorry.
Go on.
It was for the artefacts. You know, when we had the party here, it was like, well, we'll come and see what they brought up, who did it. People weren't asking us who did it, they came to have that party, but there were other people that weren't with us on the dig went to look at the artefacts and seen what we'd done. But even then, who would have thought from there we'd transgress to where we are today and where we're going?
I did.
You did, but you made
Yeah, but that was your drive, more energy. It was your drive and energy.
That's what I said from day one for us.
Yeah.
That
brought
was
us
what
along.
many times in that idea. That
No, but it's a similar thing to Barry. It's a similar thing to I will not fucking part again. I will not talk like me, and I will fucking have my friends. And out of my friends will come an audience, and we will change our fucking things to see. And I go different from the excavation. There's a whole year before we went to the excavation where we collected the memoirs.
Yeah.
And that was like, you know, like if you make a star from stardust, and it's all going like that, and then it starts to gravitate, and then it starts to coagulate, and it makes a star. That was the plan, that we would all start talking together, and I would have the courage to have my real voice, that if I have with my friends, if I put a stroke of fucking writing on a page, if my friends couldn't understand it when, but for 20 years in the arts that wasn't the truth, because you have to fucking assimilate to what they want, like you're saying about Mike Shaft.
Yeah.
Do you know, or what I put in a press release, or what I do, whatever, or what I say, and then it came to a head. There's a whole thing about getting banned from my rehearsal for saying you've read that, and from that it will never fucking happen again. Do you know what I mean?
So was that a turning point for you?
Absolutely. But it took about 4 years for me to get over it. I didn't get over it overnight, and then it was like, and then there was another thing about because when you're in the arts as well, the minute you've got a drop of colour in you, you've got to tell a fucking black story. And the black story is we're oppressed, and we're not fucking oppressed. We had a wicked life. We had an absolute fucking fabulous time down there. And they couldn't oppress us because we didn't give a fuck. And it was to go back to that, do you know what I mean? And to think, you know, I don't give a fuck. And I knew that if I just held on to that it would be alright. And it was, for the very first meeting I had in Alec Park, Stevie was one. There was 15 people, and then as we did the memoirs, without me saying a word, without any of us marketing anything, 45,000 watched our videos. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there's a need for our voices, a need for our rawness. We have a fucking great laugh, and we go proper underneath things where people are so PC now. They won't say what we say, but we've got nothing to lose. Do you know what I mean? And then I was saying the other day, it's kind of like the arts world, bubbles now, they want to do magazines and do whatever, but that's like coming down the Reno. That's the same feeling as coming down the Reno, to be with us and to be with each other, and just to be honest in general.
Can I just say that about coming down to the Reno? When we had the marquee party, I've said this time and time again to you, I was talking to some students, they must have been in their 20s, 18, 20. I said, you enjoyed it? I said, it's fantastic. I wish we'd have been born in that day. Right. And that, for me, said it all.
Yeah, a lot of people say that to me, you know.
You know, that said it all to me.
Yeah.
Right. They'd actually got the feeling that we had as youngsters in the Reno. Right. They actually got that feeling and could associate with it. Right.
But so did our posh middle class. You know, like we've got like every day there'd be at least 5, you know, like posh middle class amateur archaeologists. And when they first came, they'd sit in the photographer's cabin at lunchtime, you know, because they don't know. Well, because basically they're intrinsically prejudiced. They can't help it, that's just the way they've been brought up. But gradually, when different women, different Reno women who didn't want to dig in that, had come with fucking gorgeous food and just give us food and cake and all.
Yeah.
And then gradually we go, do you want some of this? And they start joining us in the middle. They're proper friends now.
Yeah.
They're proper in on this now. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah.
And so to equality, surely you have to have a voice, and if you're going to have a voice, it shouldn't be censored. It's got to be as organic as it possibly can be. And that's what I like about this group of people.
Absolutely.
That when we're talking, we get like very near to the knuckle, you know. And yeah, we'll have a go at white people, but we'll have a go at fat people as well, you know. We'll take the good things from them both, because there is good things, but there's bad.
Oh my God,
there's bad as well. And we're in the middle, do you know what I mean? It's us who's been stigmatised, not the black man, and not the white man, it's us, because we're like aliens in the country that we're born in. At that time, I know things are changing. As Steve said, I have noticed it, because I said to my missus, I said, Sandra, I said, have you noticed on the telly? I said, no, full of mixed race people. I said, is there that many in the country that they can put that many on the TV? Again, I'm thinking, well, what's the motive? Are you trying to gently say to people, look, whether you like it or not, this is how it's going to be. We're having multiculturalism.
And you know, like,